Hey everyone, in this video you're going to learn about the blood circulatory system in human body. So first, maybe in the last video I didn't talk about this, but just really for biology you don't even need to remember it. But for the fact that when you do respiration, after gas exchange in air sac, like the oxygenated blood is like the red blood cell, right, in the capillaries, they just combine with oxygen and form oxyhemoglobin. And after it's transferred the oxygen in those cell tissue, and it will just give out those oxygen and carry back those they call carbon dioxide and water. So it will form by the hemoglobin into those hydrogen and hydrogen carbonate. Yeah, and those hydrogen carbonates will store in plasma until you back into your air sac and form them into carbon dioxide and water, and then continue this loop. So in this video, we're going to mainly talk about the blood system. Like, we got a heart, right? You keep pumping those blood. But actually, some video about it is goes blood in and then blood out, just two in and out. But it's actually not true. So we're gonna talk about this. But first, you need to know about everything. Like, red blood cell is actually got no nucleus. It's the only cell that's got no nucleus in human body, because it need to make a shape, and the shape is a biconcave disc shape. So in the same volume it can store more, it can increase its capacity and the time you need to diffuse those oxygen into the red blood cell. And also those white blood cell, which got two kinds. One is phagocyte, another is lymphocyte. Lymphocyte is what it generates those immune stuff for virus. Like I eat a bacteria and now it got now I'm sick, so it will just match it and generate some I don't know, defense or something, just just something that will kill those bacteria. And for phagocytes is what they do on the first line. Like, I got bacteria in blood, now I'm hurt, I got bacteria, I'm infected. So they will just go there and search for each cell to see where is the bacteria. When they found them, they will eat them, which is called phagocytosis. Yeah, this process is called phagocytosis. So that's it. Yeah, just remember these two. And also the last one is blood platelet, which is used to form a stuff on your skin. Like when you hurt, right, you got a stuff right here, and it is the blood platelet, and it dries, so you can give your cell a space, not only to protect you from getting out of bacteria infection, and also it gives a space for it to heal. Yeah, for all of them, it's mainly just produced by your bone marrow. Like for red blood cells, mainly maybe in rib cage or other bones. But for white blood cells, it can produce by your spleen, probably located in because it's mirror the camera, so probably in here actually. Yeah, here. We got only one spleen. It's important, but also you can produce by bone marrow, just the bone stuff inside bone. Yeah, and yeah, it will mature in your lymph node. I mean, we got a spleen, right? It's connected to your whole lymphatic system, and for blood platelets, it's only produced by bone marrow. And also for fun facts that red blood cell, it's actually when it's a kid, yeah, it's not mature enough, right? It got nucleus, but when it's mature, it will remove its nucleus because it needs space to do those contain oxygen and carry oxygen to whole body. So if you got not enough red blood cell, you got the anemia. You're causing maybe not enough to form those hemoglobin or red blood cells, and you just yeah, not enough oxygen for your whole body tissue. But what if not enough white blood cell? You probably just got leukemia. Yeah, I guess that's how I say it. Leukemia, which is a just like a cancer. Yeah, that is kind of like a cancer. That's because your white blood cells somehow they evolve into some random shit, and then they keep infecting other white blood cells, causing them to produce a tons of shit which work not normally. Yeah, that's basically cancer. Yeah. Um, so after that, we're going to learn about those blood vessels. So first, start from your heart. You got a aorta, and then from aorta you got artery, and then is arterioles, and then is capillaries, and then is venous, and then is veins, and finally vena cava, and back to our heart and liver again. So actually heart is a double circular system, and for the difference of artery and veins is actually so significant, like obvious. Like arteries, it is a like small, it got a small lumen and it is a round shape, and its wall is thick because it's got lots of elastic and muscle tissues. So even if you pump and your blood pressure is high, it won't just break the blood vessel. So your blood vessel is actually elastic. And for veins, it's quite different because it's not moved by your blood pressure, it's not pushed by blood pressure, so it's actually got a very large lumen, and it's also got some valve inside to prevent the backflow of the blood, and it's also not carried by like under pressure because it's not enough pressure. After you travel through the capillaries back to your veins, you already got not much pressure to push it up. So we do. You got some skeletal muscles. You can move like skeletal muscles is those muscles near your veins, and you can push the blood up. So when you push and relax and push again, it might fall, right? So it got valve. Yeah, those stuff prevent it to backflow. Yeah, and so because it's got a large lumen, so it's actually got a very thin wall of those elastic tissue. Yeah, it's quite big. And now we will talk about the like those graph, like blood when you start from the heart. There's like maybe I put a graph here because the graph is talking about like when you got a blood, the pressure, right? The blood pressure start from your aorta to your veins. It actually just decreasing, it's keep decreasing. But you see it is like jiggling or something, they are just not smooth. Why? Because your heart is keep pumping. So you're causing high pressure when you pump and low pressure when you relax your muscles. And also you got a graph of why the cross-sectional areas in the capillaries is larger. Why it's actually quite easy. Just imagine that you got a tube, right? For example, it's 10 cm, the radius, right? Now I divide it, each is 1 cm. So if you calculate, you'll find out that actually those 1 cm tube, which we got 10, right? 10 1 cm radius tube. Instead of a larger, it can carry more blood for 1 second. Those two can carry way more in 1 second, but they're slower. Yeah, they're just slower. Just remember that the capillaries, you got a larger cross-sectional area, but it is flow way more slower. So it's not only can give enough time for material exchange. Yeah, I guess that's it. But yeah, for capillaries, I haven't talked about, but it is like a one cell thing. Once you need to do some material exchange and diffusion and stuff, so I actually need a smaller wall to do it. Only one cell can pass through, and then maybe the last graph is you can see the flow speed of blood from your aorta is high and then drop down and then raise back. Why? In capillaries, as I said, it's very slow, right? But back to veins, because the cross-sectional area is smaller, so the speed will be faster. Even though it's moved by skeletal muscle, it's still faster than capillaries. Alright, now move on to heart. This first we might just talk about the heart, right? So in your heart you got the structure. The structure is what? Is I put a graph here. Yeah, the structure is first you got your here, start from here, the right hand side to the left hand side, right? Right hand side, it go to your aorta. No, I mean the right atrium. And then the right atrium, like the anterior and posterior vena cava, go to your atrium, and then the atrium will pump the blood to your right ventricle through the tricuspid valve, which connects by those heart tendons, which can prevent, because the pumping strength is strong, right? So it will need to prevent the valve from this to this because of too strong pressure. So then it will pump up to our lung, which is called pulmonary vein. After it got oxygen, right? And then it will go back to our pulmonary artery on our left side, and then back to our left atrium, and then pump through a bicuspid valve, also connected by those heart tendons, and then to our left ventricle, and then pump up to our aorta. Yeah, in our aorta, it's actually got a semilunar valve to prevent it to backflow. Because aorta, you got a high pressure, right? So you need to prevent it from going back because of the high pressure. Yeah. And if I'm correct, I probably can just maybe see the pulmonary things. I'll just put a graph here and see if it got a semilunar valve. Because semilunar valve is used also same as those other valves to prevent the backflow of blood. So if I'm correct, it might also got those semilunar valve. Yes, and Then we might talk about the exchange of stuff, like the exchange of nutrition. How to do that? Actually, if you go to the blood flow to your atrial, and then it will move to our capillaries, right? Because it got pressure, so push the blood to our capillaries, and which the pressure we call is hydrostatic pressure, because it's high, right? To push the water outside, only water and some nutrition outside. But the plasma and plasma protein is still inside. The proteins actually do nothing, but we are talking about what they do. So now the blood, it push out some stuff outside. And also there's some lymph. I put a graph here. There's some cell tissue and there's a lymph capillaries here. So lymph, as I said, is still as a white blood cell, and then what they do here is actually sucking back the those water that is too much. And because the protein do what? I mean, after you go from the head of those capillaries and now you're going to the end, how to sucking back, and now the protein acts as a stuff for the water potential. The water potential is low, right? And those in the cell tissue is high, right? So it will suck back. But it is not meaning that it can suck back for 100%. Those excess water will get sucked by those lymph capillaries, and then probably suck back, and then you get some like go to your lymph node, and there's tons of white blood cell, which if there's bacteria, it can just kill it. And I guess that's it. Yeah, I guess that's it. But it's easy actually. So yeah, learn more, study more. Bye.